Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here going to talk about something a little bit different. This is part of our Simplicity series. And what I've done is we can make cards with just pattern paper, scissors, and adhesive, depending upon which one you like. I'm a liquid adhesive person. Not so much of a tape runner, but again, personal preference. So one of the things that I'm actually going to talk about in this one are the supplies to keep it simple. There is so much that's out there in this wonderful paper crafting world. We have so many choices that are available to us, and that is what they are. They're choices. If you are that person that has to have everything, then that is wonderful. That's great. If you are that person that only wants to get into the alcohol markers, that's wonderful too. When it comes to this craft, and because there is just so much out there, I don't want anyone to get lost, pretty much. That's what this is all about for me. Sometimes simple is best. But there are those that, you don't want to get involved in everything that's out there. You don't know if you're going to like it. And again, a lot of these things that are out there, they are an investment. Absolutely they are. So again, to make cards, the main thing we need is paper. There's all kinds of paper pads out there. All the companies have them. What's great is your local craft shop. Mine happens to be Michael's. They have these hot buys, and these are wonderful as well. So this is definitely one thing that you need. Now, this is a 12 by 12. There's also 8 by 8s out there. There's also 6 by 6s. So whatever size you like to purchase, and hoard, we need to add the hoard, because let's face it, we do that. That is absolutely your choice. And you can still make cards from that. You need a good pair of scissors. Now, scissors for me are extremely important. And let me move this pattern paper. Well, tell you what, I'll keep it to the white side here. Scissors are very important. Now, I like long blade scissors because I can get one cut straight down, and it can be pretty straight if I want it to, if the piece can go through the entire blade. Okay. I need them to be sharp. Now, these here, the Tim Holtz tonic ones, the long blades, I think these are the 9.5, they are serrated. It's very, very small notice, but just so you know, they are serrated. These here are by Fun Stamper's Journey, and these are phenomenal scissors. I wish the blade would get longer. So guys, if you're watching, let's get this blade longer. If this blade could get just longer, these would be to die for scissors. They are solid. They have a coating on, so glue does not stick to them. But FYI, these are sharp scissors. Notice how I said that. I mean, I literally one day just rubbed my finger across it, and wow, it was, I had to stop the video. Let's just say that. So long blade scissors. Fiskars is also good. Just know this, any scissor is good. It's what your hand is going to be comfortable with, where it really goes. These here, I bought at the dollar store. These are great scissors. Absolutely wonderful scissors. Here's the key when it comes to your scissors. Once you cut paper with them, don't use them for anything else. The Tim Holtz one, you can, because of the way that they're constructed. You can use these to cut paper, threads, fabric, and everything else. The blade won't change. Again, for me it doesn't. These, however, once you cut paper with these, you only want your scissors then to be for paper. You can't take these and use it for threads or fabrics. The blade will actually go dull. So when you go to cut paper, you won't have, it's a wonderful feeling when you cut paper. You all know what I'm talking about. I mean, just to take this and it just goes through that piece of paper like butter. You know what I'm talking about. If you use these for fabric and threads, it'll actually bend the paper. It won't cut and slice through it. So dollar store scissors are fine as well. They truly are. Once you cut them with paper, though, don't use them for anything else. Okay? Now, again, I do like long blades. I also like a shorter blade, such as these, if I want a fussy cut. If I want to fussy cut something out of a piece of paper, and I'm pulling a piece of paper here off to the side that I have. So if I want to fussy cut this piece out, these smaller blades are going to be easier to manipulate than my longer shears will be. Okay, I can see around them. Notice I'm moving my paper as I'm fussy cutting around the image. But if you do that with a long blade, it is difficult because they are long. You won't be able to see and maneuver the way that you can. And again, take notice, my scissors are not moving. It's the paper that I'm moving to fussy cut that piece. Okay, so a shorter blade is good for that with a nice point. Now, these are the cutter bees. They are a little higher in price. But what you can also get, Fiskars. Fiskars has a nice pair as well. A nice sharp point. I won't show you these on paper because these are my thread scissors. I've already used these for threads. They're not going to cut paper the way that they should. Again, once you use a pair of scissors for paper, don't use it for anything else because they will stay sharp along the paper. These are my thread snips. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you can see I've grabbed these pair of scissors, I grabbed these scissors, and I grab these. They're my personal preference, and you can see I stick to these, but each one does have a specific task. Do you need that? No, you don't. Get a long blade, get a short blade. Fiskars is wonderful for that. Okay, these are very sharp. They have a wonderful point. And if you look, it is, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Look, it's almost the same as these. Okay, so these, I get these at a local sewing store or craft store as well. All right, so long and short, that's what it is. The long and the short of it. How about that? Okay, it will serve you well, but you only need one of each. Okay, so scissors, very important. Glue, liquid adhesive, or a tape runner. That's your personal preference. I am a liquid adhesive person. I do grab for my art glitter glue, but you know what? Any glue that you have, except Elmer's. Elmer's has a lot of water. It will really warp your paper. Now this has a lot of water as well, but you don't need much of it. The best inexpensive type glue is actually what I think is the Simon Says tacky glue. It's very good, and it's a good price point. I'm going to see if I can find a bottle. Here we go. Their craft tacky glue. It's a really nice glue. It's at a great price point. It lasts for a while. And again, when it comes to your liquid adhesives, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. So you may say, oh, well, that's just a small bottle. Trust me, the way that you apply it, it will last for a long time. If you take this, and if I'm going to, let's say, glue these two pieces together, you can see that's very little glue. I don't know if you can see that, because of course, oh, there we go. Ha, look at that. That's very little glue, very little amount. And that won't warp my paper. If you use an Elmer's, you will see your paper warp. I'm not saying that you can't use it, just use very little of it. Don't use a lot. You don't have to cover the entire backing of your paper when it comes to that. If you like tape runners, then by all means, go with a tape runner. I do not have luck with tape runners. I believe they look at me and laugh hysterically. Every time I grab one, it's either out or it's jammed. It's just absolutely hysterical. I've tried them all, and every one of them I just get problems. So, but again, it's your choice. Whatever you want to use, okay? But I am a liquid adhesive person, so that is my preference. Now, the other thing you want to get are foam squares. Now, you don't have to get foam squares. If you want to have dimension on your cards, then you would need these, or you can actually use up your scraps, just cut them up and layer them. If I keep doing this, and then if I grab my glue, I can take this and I can stick that on top of that. I can take more glue. I can take this one on top of that. And just by gluing those few pieces together, I already have something that has dimension, so that when I put this behind this piece, it's going to lift it up off of my card. So you don't necessarily need your foam squares, your double-sided foam squares. You can use the scrap card pieces that you have and just cut them into strips or squares and build them up. And you will be able to have dimension on your cards as well. Okay? The only, besides your paper, besides your adhesive, and besides your scissors, you definitely want a pencil. Any pencil will do. I love wooden pencils. I love sharpening them. I love these erasers. I don't need a mechanical pencil. Do I have them? Yes. But I love these. I'm old. Yes, I'm very comfortable with these. It's kind of funny. So a pencil. You can use a pen. You can use a marker. Just make sure it's fine tip and it's not, you're not going to put a mark where you're going to see it. The only other two things that I would suggest when it comes to the simplicity, and they're the last two things that I would absolutely suggest you get. The first one is a paper trimmer. And the reason why I suggest a paper trimmer is because it will make it easier for you in the long run. Now, you can certainly, you don't need a paper trimmer. You can take pieces of cardstock, You can measure it with a ruler. I'm grabbing a ruler. So if I take this, now I have a mat with a grid on it. So if I want this cut to be 4 inches, I know I can just put my ruler down here to these lines, draw a line, there's 4 inches, and then if I want this one to be 5.5, all I have to do is come over 5, there's my half, and then all I need to do is draw my line there. I grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut along that line, and then this will give me a 4 by 5.5 inch rectangle for my card. There you go. It's done. You can certainly do this. If you're looking and if you're curious about gadgets and all of these wonderful things out there, a paper trimmer will serve you well. And it'll speed up. You'll be able to measure it. Now, there's many styles out there. Absolutely many styles. If you have 12 by 12 pattern paper, you want to take that into consideration. So you want a trimmer that's going to handle 12 by 12 pieces of paper. If this is my favorite, and I'm reaching for it, and here it's right next to me. This is my absolute favorite paper trimmer. This is the Tonic Studios. I know, Tim Holt again. And it is a guillotine. It's got an arm to it. Now, there is a larger one that he has, Tonic has, for Tim Holt, and it will handle 12 by 12 pattern paper. This will only handle your 8.5 by 11, and it only goes up to 6 inches on this side. Okay, so this is great if you collect 6 by 6 paper pads or 8 by 8 paper pads, because if you need to cut down to 6, you just need to cut off 2 inches. Then you're at 6. So this is my favorite. This is wonderful. But again, if you are into those 12 by 12s, you want to take that into consideration. My suggestion would be, if you do that, if you either go with a guillotine, because the blade sharpens itself all the time. You never have to replace that blade. That is one of the beautiful things of this. This blade here never has to be sharpened. Every time you bring this down, and I'm sorry I'm making that annoying noise, it sharpens itself. There are those paper trimmers, and I have a smaller one here that has these blades here. Those little tiny blades there. And again, you just pop it in there and it slides up and down. Now these come to handle 12 by 12 paper too. This one is just it's very small. It's helped for me to cut sentiments. I still can't do it, but that's beside the point. I find I have to replace this blade very often. And again, it could be me. I could be using this the wrong way. I know people that have this and hardly ever change the blade. Again, it's probably me. If you're going into one of the Fiskars, and the Fiskars trimmers are wonderful. I do like the wire. Now, my wire has never snapped on this. I've never had that problem with the wire snapping. But Fiskars does make trimmers where there's a rotary blade in it, where you push down and you roll up. Those are the ones that I would suggest. So either a guillotine or the one with the rotary blade in there. The rotary blades, you will never have to change the rotary blade. Because again, you're only using it on paper. It's staying sharp. The only thing that you would replace is the track that it's running in. But again, the track that I have yet to replace it, and I've had mine for over a year. Now remember, when you are dealing with 12 by 12 paper, they can get pretty big. So again, if you've got to think of space, keep that in mind. This is the one that I have. It actually folds out, so it can definitely handle the 12 by 12 paper. The only problem with this is right here. I lose my measurement for 6.5 and 6 1/4. I have no measurement here. So you kind of like wing it. Well, which is fine. I have my 1/6 and an 1/8. I'm sure somewhere here, if I leaned up against something, it would be 6 1/4. But you do lose that here. But the blade is actually in this track. I push it down and it cuts in. It's got a safety mechanism. And again, this is what you would need to replace. I have yet to replace it. This pops out. And you can see I haven't even gone to the other side yet. So you can turn it over. And you can buy those separately. So if you're going to get a trimmer, again, you don't need to. All right. I would suggest either a rotary with a rotary blade into it, or the guillotine. You've just got to remember the size of papers that you have so that you don't fall into, oh, I have 12 by 12 and I only bought this. Now I got to buy another trimmer. You don't want to get caught into that. All right. So look at the papers that you have and then you can decide. The last thing that I would suggest that you would get, and you only need a few of them, you don't need many, are sentiment packs, sentiment stamp packs. Not all of our paper pads come with those cutouts with the words, with the sentiments already printed out for us. Some of them don't have that. They literally just have the just the paper, you know, the paper itself. The few that I would recommend to get, I think they have a great selection, and I'm digging through here, and I actually marked them. Huh, look at me. Aren't I funny? Okay. So these are the ones here. So you can see I have dots on them, except this one. So what's great with this one from Spellbinders is you've got these main, now this is not for the holidays. This would be for encouragement, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, anniversary, engagement. There is a holiday. So this will cover everything, but you can build your sentiment. You can say happy holidays. You can say happy anniversary, happy birthday, happy thoughts, happy everything, lovely memories, awesome memories, you are lovely, sending you happy thoughts. So you can build all your sentiments that you need from this one sentiment pack. You've got 2 beautiful fonts and you're set to go. You just need one. It's addicting though, I know. Okay. Simon says, or excuse me, I'll get to Simon. My favorite things is another one. Now this one here is, they refer to as essential sentiments. They have another one that's called more essential sentiments. They have one of these for the holidays. They have one of these for birthdays. So they have them for specific, as I can't speak, occasions. So you could just get these, and then again, you will be set. Simon says the same thing. They have these wonderful sentiment packs. Now, this is a little bit better to read, but they have ones that are tinier. So tiny. I don't know how they get them like that, but they're so tiny, but they're great. They have one for the holidays. They have one for birthday. They have one for encouragement. And you're all set. 3 stamp sets. Boom. You're done. Okay? And then clearly besotted. These are the two that are my absolute favorite. One, I just love this font. I think it's different, it's unique, but then you also have Happy Holidays, Happy Father's Day, Graduation, Merry Christmas, Mother's Day, New Baby, Happy Halloween, New Job, and then here, Keep Calm and Be Calm. Here's Happy New Year. Here's another Happy Halloween, Be My Valentine. Huge congratulations. So these two alone will suffice. So again, you don't need all of the sentiments. You just need something so that you can create those cards by just using your paper, and then you only have your sentiments to add to them. When it comes to inks, the best ink is your VersaFine Black. This lasts you for a long time. It's perfect for sentiments, even those little tiny ones. And again, this does come in a brown as well. I would, there's always black, but two inks that you would need, black and brown, for your sentiments. You don't need to go into colors. We have our paper for that. And again, we're keeping it simple. We're using all of this wonderful and beautiful paper that we have, and that's all we need to create cards. With paper, I've said this before and I've said it again. We can rip it, shred it, we can crumble it, we can tear it. We can maneuver it, we can bend it, we can poke holes through it, and there's two sides to it. There is so much that we can do to paper. And just with 2 shades of ink, a sentiment stamp set or 2, some pattern paper, your scissors, a pencil, and a ruler if you want that, and your adhesive. Just these items right here, you can make beautiful cards. You don't need all of the gadgets. So this was a little bit different. Didn't show any cards, didn't show any processes, but I just wanted to, I've been getting a lot of questions when it comes to the Simplicity series. Yes, it's continuing. It's not going to go anywhere. I find it very relaxing to get back to the basics. It's freeing. It kind of clears my head just a little bit. So this will continue. I'm always, as I watch all of these other videos and I continue to be inspired, I sit there and I now think, we can do that with just paper. We don't need that die. We don't need this. And we all know Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. She's the one that actually showed a lot of different processes to create. So I'll be bringing all of that in here because you don't need all of those dies. So as I said, this will continue, but I was getting questions, should I get this? Should I get that? This is really all you need. These here are things that I would suggest to get. 2 colors, brown or black, 1 or 2 sentiment packs. You don't need to go crazy. To make it easier, a paper trimmer. But again, you don't need that. You just need a good pair of scissors only for paper. So I hope this helps. I do hope you enjoyed this. The things that I did mention when it comes to the sentiment packs, the inks, the glues, I'll have those listed down below. But again, use what you have. If you already have this stuff, then continue to use it. Don't change over. And I'll list a couple of good priced trimmers for you if you're interested in those down below as well. Okay? If you have any more questions or comments, please leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, I hope you did enjoy this. A little different, I know. I didn't show you a card, but trust me, there are cards that are going to be coming up. I hope everyone has a great day. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe, to be part of my group here. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time just to spend this little bit moment with me. I hope everyone's having a great day. But by all means, remember, what is most important to me? Always be creative.